stop over for a glass of food. People we're going to have on Zoom today, given the weather. I've got a few notices, and this is a new setup for us with kind of a high-tech outfit here. And so we hope this all pulls together. Let me first, Patrick, you got the Zoom recording going at this point? Okay. And welcome everybody on Zoom. I'd like to call together this meeting open. We do have a quorum here for our annual members meeting, so we declare that. And to assist in running the members meeting, I've asked Peter Blanton, who's a very active committee member on DSCA and a resident of the Ritz Residences Way, to help in run the members meeting. So without further ado, Peter Blanton.
Okay. Thanks, David. Just reading from the text here. But anyway, welcome people near and far. And again, I'm Peter Blanton with Ritz-Carlton Residence. Want to call to order the members meeting at 4:03, April 3rd, the 2024 DSCA members meeting. I would like to see if any attendees have a proxy that their condo hasn't yet emailed to DSCA. I assume they're all emailed in. And do we need to provide the number of proxies, or
we have 18 35, so we have a quorum.
We have a quorum. And there are new members. Okay. If the new member reps, if you're here, would you like to stand and just, sorry. Yeah, so we have 100 Central and the Q as new members. So sorry, is there someone from either of those two associations? Okay, that's fine. Then Patrick's going to display the 2023 members meeting minutes. Okay, I would like to, there they are. So I'd like to offer a motion to approve the DSCA member meeting minutes of April 4, 2023 without reading.
So moved.
Okay, second. So moved. And let's have the treasurer's report. Approved, sorry. Minutes are approved, thank you. Yeah, so let's display the treasurer's report if possible.
Okay, the Seacoast checking account balance is $16,829.80. 80 cents.
Okay. $16,829 is in the sequence accounts. Okay, let's display the board of director candidates, which are displayed. Are there any other nominations for the DSCA board? Seeing, I call for a motion to approve the slate of 10 directors to the DSCA board.
So moved.
Second.
Approved.
Form.
And we have a form. Okay, now we're gonna display the review 2023-2024. Okay, so this presentation will be given by David Lough, our chair, and hand it off to him.
Thanks, Peter, and let me go through this pretty quickly. It's been a busy year. We'll just give you some of the highlights and some of the key things we plan to be working on next year. Next slide, Patrick. And just the inner box there is the DSCA neighborhood. It includes the Rosemary. It's about 1.8 square miles. It's only about 7% of the city's geographic area. Next. Where my estimate is we're about 12,500 people in this season. 21% of the city's entire population, and accounting for upwards to 60% of the growth in the last 5 years, and probably will do it again in the coming 5 years. There's over 900 units under construction right now in our neighborhood, and another 1,500 or so on the drawing board. So we think we're going to grow by 2030 to 15 or 16,000 people downtown. Next. In the real estate area, there has been some slowing down of sales from a euphoric kind of sugar high of a year and a half ago, but it seems to be stabilizing, I think, to some extent from what I'm seeing and hearing. One recent development is the Beso condo project is now fully sold and occupied. That's 149 units in the Quay. The median sales price is staying at, $1.1 million or so. And it's probably increased 5% over last year and over double 2016. Next. One thing I've taken a new look at is population per square mile and looking at the density. And you can see that right now, I think we're at about 7,000 people in a square mile. And I wanted to look at, what is that going to be 6, 7 years from now? It probably could go to 9,000 people. And I've compared it, with St. Pete, which is about 5,400. I mean, the message here is we're pretty getting increasingly densely populated. In fact, the Rosemary, the 2 bars on the right, is as many as 12,000 people per square mile because it's a relatively small geographic area with virtually every building in there kind of multi-unit. So the message here is we start to plan for things, we're getting more condensed and more people and more intensity, if you will. Next. Some accomplishments. I hope you've all been enjoying our newsletter and our news update. And hats off to Patrick for the work he did on the website, which is really a great resource and really lot snazzier than it was in the past, but we're really pleased with that. We conducted more and more polls and surveys, and I think you all know we spent a lot of time, I spend a lot of time at City Hall getting to know the commissioners and staff about our issues. Next. And we participate on, we have a bunch of committees. Ken ably chairs the Arts and Cultural Committee, which is a relatively unique kind of committee to have among the neighborhood associations, and we have the other ones listed that are very active. Next slide. And then we have some new associate members that are again listed here. Really happy to see this growing list of associates who help make our meetings possible. And I did notice Patrick is a new member rep from BLVD. So you weren't on the list. And how do you say your last name, please? McNamee. Okay, Patrick McNamee. And then we've hosted our 2 workshops. Next. And then let's look ahead to 24. This is just kind of my way of looking at, just in one picture, some of the things we're working on. And the next slide, we'll take each of these and kind of break it out a little bit. One key initiatives that's very important to the committee that Ken and others are working on is the Performing Arts Center and the Van Wezel, and trying to move a discussion of that ahead. And I think the one key thing here is people are not realizing the economic importance of arts and culture to our city, not just the end benefit of going and seeing a play or whatever, but that is a key economic driver. Next. And transportation alternatives. I mentioned density per square mile. One of the things that we're looking at is what kind of alternatives other than walking and Ubering it might be right. And most of you, how many here are familiar with the iRide system from 5 years or so ago? So this is a mobile glorified golf cart. Next slide. And we're kind of beginning to look at, can a case be made that it's economically feasible to bring something like that back, or a water taxi, or other alternatives than cars and walking. Next. 3 exciting streetscape projects are moving ahead. Boulevard of the Arts and 10th, that you've heard before, are really moving ahead to getting what is called shovel ready. And it's anticipated in the next 4 months that could be deemed shovel ready. And if the money's found to build it, then they would go to fine construction designs and engineering drawings. I think it's May 28th or somewhere in there, they're planning yet another community workshop to solicit further community input as they refine the drawings that much more. Fruitville, this is, in my opinion, and some opinions of the room, this could be the most consequential change in the city, is a rethink of Fruitville. Sentiment you would know about 5 years ago, it was discussed of what to do. Well, it's back on the table now, and it will be a city commission agenda item on the 15th. So Mayor Alpert is really championing a cause to take another serious look at this and fund the money in the next year's budget to do that. Next, Main Street. I don't know how many of you were there last night, but visioning for Main Street is going ahead. There were, I don't know, I think the turnout last night must have been 150, 200 people participating in a workshop, getting input on what to do there. And one thing I'm hearing is, because it's a big project and some degree of controversy, they may have a grand vision, but implement it in a couple of phases, if you will. Next. Affordable housing, some of you will know that new zoning went into effect last October, and I'm told, I think there's 3 new projects coming along that have an affordable component to them. And I think you would also know that it's about 11% of a project in total. So I think one project is 225 units on Main Street, and about 20 of those or 22 of those or so are going to be attainable. And then the Lofts on Lemon Phase 2 is moving ahead. That's going to be 100% attainable, and that's below 80% AMI, if you know what that means. That's for a more in need kind of group. Next. Quality of life and zoning. I won't go through all of these, but we've been very actively involved in zoning when it comes to restaurants and bars. And there's a special events ordinance that kind of crept up on us. There's a workshop on next Monday. So of course, we're going to be watching and inputting into that. And a new sound ordinance, which has been promised now for at least a couple of years, is still hanging out there and trying to see when that's going to become an agenda item. And new construction, look at this, at the Quay alone, there's going to be a total of over 700 dwelling units there when that gets built out. 200, about 250 should come online later this year. Next. And money. The FY25 budget is under discussion. There's going to be a town hall on the budget on May 7th. So this is where we can have input into and see the budget. And the city is embarking on the developing of a strategic economic plan. That's a new development here in the last few weeks. Next. And the one key thing that you're going to see later is the updating of the downtown master plan, and that's a key thing. How many of you attended the speakers series or watched it? So that virtually everybody in the room saw that. If you didn't, we've got a link online to see that. So we'll be hearing more about that when Steve Cover is here during the town hall meeting. One thing we're going to really be advocating for is if that city plan is updated, it's updated really, really top-notch professionally, with a firm similar to where these speaker series folks will go. So key issues for 24, you see them up there, the sound ordinance, the things here, transportation, streetscapes, the master plan, and those are, more strategic in nature rather than fixing potholes. So those are the things we're up to and working on and continuing to be working on in close cooperation with city staff and commission. And in closing, let me, kind of thank you. Yeah, we do have challenges as a city, but, things are, in the grander scheme of things, quite good, as some of the speakers kind of indicated. We got lots of things happening in the last year with parks, performing arts centers, streetscapes. And the one thing I would ask everybody in the room, get more involved if you can. I think many of you are, but if there's a way to get more involved. And thanks to the board for your support, putting up with me at times on certain things. But I think we're a good board, and I appreciate every one of you. Thank you.
Build more PowerPoint files onto the site.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Thanks, David. And now we're going to ask if any member reps have any new business they would like to bring forward this afternoon. Yes. Do you want to maybe come up here, because otherwise I can take you. Okay, go get your mic.
Yes, Broadway Promenade, work on the A project as well as far as bringing information on that. There was a very important meeting that happened last week with the advisory board. And this is something I think needs to be brought to everyone's attention in the fact that there was a lot of pushback from the county commissioner side of the board. Both the county commissioners, Cummingston and Smith, both were kind of negative to going forward with authorizing money for the just the authorization to use the TIF money for the architect, not the money itself, but just the authorization that if they come to terms that they could use that money. And that's all that was really up for grabs. And they basically want to get more information. Both of them did not seem to be that informed what's going on with what's happening at the, they should come to DSCA meetings because we had a really good explanation from Mary at a couple weeks or a couple months ago about what's happening and frankly how obsolete the Van Weasel is. And whatever we can do to get that across to them, I think would be helpful as far as getting that through. Otherwise, there's a real strong chance that we could delay that over another year just to get that authorization, which means you get a year behind on the design of the building and so forth. So it's a pretty big thing. And I don't think people are paying as close attention to it as they could. So, oops, that's really all from the Bay, but it's I think it's something everybody needs to wants to see the arts furthered in Sarasota. They need to jump on that.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a very good summary. I think a lot of people were shocked of the events that took place in terms of the county commissioners being somewhat out of the loop, but obviously we'll follow up with this. Any other member reps have any comments? Okay, I would like
Peter,
to.
I have one.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know if anyone.
Okay. Yes.
Jim Lample from the Jewel. We are paying very close attention to the new drawing for what was the Obsidian. It's only a few feet lower than the last initiative, and our condo president has already weighed in that he is against that plan as well. So if you're living downtown, you're concerned about the precedent of a building that might be 330 or 40 feet high, you might want to pay attention to that.
Right. Thank you, Jim. We have another, I know a number of members of the DSCA board have sent letters, including myself. Yes.
I'm Bill Deal from Condo on the Bay. And as David went through some of the new developments that are being implemented in your future, the Quay brings to mind something that I think we all need to think about. As these buildings are being built, the construction debris and staging and what have you has been able to take place on empty lots within the Quay. The new properties that are going to be built are going to have to find some place to stage all of their construction equipment and all of that type of thing. And if in fact the Hyatt is demolished, what in the world is going to happen to Boulevard of the Arts? As you know, it's a fairly narrow road. In the last couple of weeks, we've started to experience very large trucks going in and out of there and blocking traffic. So as you look at items coming before the city or the plans and approval, I think we need to make sure that we're cognizant of the fact that could be a real problem in the future, and we need to make sure that contractors in the city are aware of what's going to happen with all of that equipment and debris and what have you.
yeah, that's a very good point. I will add, I asked the president of Coulter Urban, who came to the Quay a couple weeks ago about staging for all the new properties that they're going to put up in the Quay and also the Hyatt property. And he said that, well, there should be lots of available land in the Rosemary district. So I have no idea. You know, yeah, they need a space and they will run out of space because you can't build where, I mean, you can't stage where you're building. So that's an important point worth following. Okay. Any other member reps have a comment? Yes.
I'd like to say I'm sort of in hiatus in terms of the Renaissance condominium that we represent, my husband and I represent. But we're moving to the Quay at the BASO, and they haven't yet formed their HOA yet,
Yeah.
Condo Association. So I'm hoping I put word out that about this organization on the Facebook page for BASO, encouraging them to, and they seem to be receptive to it. The second thing is in terms of the construction at the Quay, we suffered the same problems with the blockage and everything, even just as residents coming in and out. I spoke with Steve Cover, and he said that each developer is supposed to submit with their permit staging specifics about how they are going to handle staging. And he came over to the Quay and he agrees that they were going to send out people and make sure the workers are not supposed to be parking there. They're supposed to be transported in, but a lot of the vehicles there are workers. So when he's here, you might want to bend his ear a little bit about that. So.
Thank you. That's a very good point. Okay. Any other member reps? Great. So thanks for all those, like 4:30. So at this point, I would like to adjourn the members meeting. It's 4:30. And we will now start the brief board meeting that David Lough will chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. How did that happen? Right, exactly at 4:30 as we had planned. That's a good one. Thank you for that. Let me call to order now and confirm a quorum of our new board members. I think we are all here. We certainly have a quorum, Patrick. That said, I guess the next order of business is a call for a nomination of the president of DSCA for the coming year. Patrick.
Nominate David as president.
Thank you. Is there a second from Peter Fanning? Thank you. The first was a nomination for president. I've been nominated as president by Patrick, seconded by Peter Fanning. Let's have any discussion or roll call vote on that. Okay, close the nomination. Okay, okay, thank you, Peter. Any discussion? Shall we vote, please? All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you all. And now, thank you for your support. And now a call for the nomination of vice president. And is there a nomination for that, please? I would, I would, yep. Okay, so Clark has made a motion to nominate Jamie Still as our vice president. We have a second from Judy. And are there any other nominations from the floor? If not, we'll close that. And okay, all right. Okay, all in favor of Jamie as our vice president again? Aye. Okay, good. I see that as unanimous. Moving ahead to nominations for our secretary. And yeah, we have Jamie's motion is for Judy Moore as continuing as secretary. And is there a second on that? Are there any other nominations from the floor? Okay, and Peter moves to close the nominations, and all of those in favor of Judy? Aye, and I see again unanimous. And then for treasurer, do we have a nomination for treasurer?
I nominate Clark.
Okay, and Peter is nominated Clark to continue, and Jamie is seconded. Any other to close nominations? Okay, we close nominations. All in favor? And I see again a unanimous. So thanks, everybody. The next order of business is for approve our March 6th minutes. Those were circulated to everybody. Are there any edits, comments, concerns about those? Then may I have a motion to adopt approve the minutes? Okay, Clark makes a motion, and then is there a second on that? Okay, and Ken, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, and then treasurer's report. Clark had already done that earlier, and I'm going to ask if we're any new topics of business. Peter, I think you may have something. Yes, sir.
I'd like to indulge the president to allow a deviation from protocol. I did not get this statement out in a timely enough manner to get it to the whole board. I've done some preliminary, but I think, without apologizing again, I'll go right to it. Anyway, at the last meeting in March, a proposal was made that DSCA support the position statement of CCNA with regard to the development of Ken Thompson Park and other parks in the city. I brought up the issue that I don't think we had enough time to look at this proposal and to fully understand what was going to happen at Ken Thompson. And several of you very politely told me I should go back and listen to the commission meeting, which I did. And I reviewed several items in the press and other organization statements. And I find the CCNA statement to be worthy of being supported. And I'd like to read that into the minutes before.
Okay, yes.
In the context of the proposed development of Ken Thompson Park by Ride Entertainment, the member associations of the Coalition of City Neighborhood Association of Sarasota oppose any such use that diminishes free and public use of our city parks or is a liability on the surrounding neighborhood of the city. Any planned development to add to or exchange our park should enhance the free and public use thereof and be an asset to the surrounding neighborhood and the city. I move that the board support this position statement so that our member rep at the Saturday CCNA meeting can be directed to vote in affirmative for this position statement.
Any discussion? Okay, is that are you making that adoption in form of a?
I made the motion.
It's a motion. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh, okay, do we have a second to that? Okay, Judy is a second. Any discussion, any further discussion of that? Patrick?
To clarify, Peter, the motion for CSNA is not specifically against any particular company or proposal. Is that correct? It's a generic statement.
No, it is not. They used as an example, Ken Thompson Park by Ride Entertainment, but there is no other mention of a corporate entity.
Well, my understanding was it was to be kind of a generic
That's my
Positions.
understanding as well.
position statement. If it's a generic one, I would be supportive of that. I don't think it's appropriate to single out any one given firm. Could we, a friendly amendment to your motion is that I be allowed to ask for clarification at CCNA that it is a generic thing, and if so, then DSCA would support that?
The motion maker accepts it. Does the second accept it? Second accepts.
Okay, that being said, any further discussion? Okay, a vote? Okay, all in favor? Aye. I'm seeing, Roger, did I see you vote or you did not vote? Okay, okay, so it looks like we have pardon? Seven. Okay, so I think the motion is passed 7-1. Okay? Oh, okay. All right, we got the count right, 7-1, is that correct? Oh, 7 with 1 abstention, sorry. Okay. All right, thank you, Peter. Is there any other new business? Hearing none. I think the next in the order of march here, Patrick, is we're now going to adjourn our board meeting and wait for 10 or 15 minutes for the start of our town hall when our guests should be turning up momentarily if they had an umbrella. So shall we consider ourselves adjourned and reconvene here very shortly? Thank you.